Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Friday Business Intelligence Tip. Today, I've got a unique presentation, and I know I say that every time, but we're going to go a little bit different route. We're going to go to Power BI. I haven't covered Power BI in quite a while, and so we're going to talk about a topic that I was asked earlier this week, and that was I created these Power BI dashboards, and I really would like to roll those out to my users in a more integrated way than them just going out to the Power BI service. Can I do that? And the answer is yes. Now, some of the tools get a bad rap from the ERP vendors. They're selling their own tools, whether it be, we work a lot with Infor. They have a product called Burst, and some of our other partners have other products. But what they tend to do is point you into a direction of thinking that's the only tools you can use for their reporting or business intelligence. But I'm going to show you today how you can use Power BI in virtually any other vendor's portal or application very easily. Now, there's many ways to do it, but I'm going to show you the fastest, easiest way to do that integration without having to be a real techie person to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump on over here to my other screen, and I've got a Power BI dashboard up on the screen here that I've created previously. And the scenario is I want to put this out onto maybe an intranet site or into my ERP's menuing system or portal. Can I do that? And one of the latest features or releases that Power BI let out, under the file menu is an option to embed reports. And one of the options you're going to see in there is to a website or portal. If you click that, what's going to happen is it's going to pop up a dialog that's going to show you two things. One, the first one here says, here's a link that you can embed this content into your anywhere. And this basically is a full URL of going to the report. So if I just copy that, and I'll just go up to my menu up here at the top, and I'll paste that in here. I run that. You're going to see it actually runs that report that I showed you earlier. So you can just take that URL, any kind of system that just accepts a URL for maybe a menuing. So we do a lot of work with Lawson, which was acquired by Infor, and they had a product called LBI, or Lawson Business Intelligence. You could embed any URL on any of the dashboards there. So these fit nicely right in there. We just plug in the URL and away you go. It will launch the reports based on that. Now, the other option that was in here is HTML. It says you can paste into a website. This is if you need an iframe. And where you'd use an iframe is if you're going to embed this inside of another web page. So I'm just copy that iframe out, but here I'm going to do something a little bit, this will get a little bit technical, but I won't make it fancy. I'll just create a web page. When you create a web page, obviously you're not going to be doing it in Notepad like I'm doing it here, and it'll be much more robust than this. But if I just did a very simple web page like HTML, and I'll do body and flash body, and then inside there I can say hello world. Everyone loves hello world. I'll just do /p. And to be a purist, I'll just put a beginning P, just so I don't get someone complaining that I didn't have an opening tag and a closing tag all around that way. So I'll just do file. We'll do save as on this. So it'll save this web page, and I'll put it into my temp, and I'll just call this webinar.html. We'll do webinar.html and save that. So now if I come up here and close this down, and I'll just open this over here, I'll do C:/data/temp. Hopefully I remembered where I put this, webinar.html. I run that, there's my hello world. Now, if I wanted to embed my report in there, I should have done this. Open that back in Notepad here. I should have kept that open, but I didn't. So we'll open that up in Notepad. Here's my hello world. I'll just paste that iframe link. And There's a number of things you can change in here. So commonly you'll want to change with the height and the width, but I'll save this first just so you can see it. If I do save, come back here and refresh this page. Now all of a sudden I have Hello World, my page that's here, and then it embedded that report in there. So going back to that web page, you got the height and width and some of the other things. And if you're used to the tags and iframes, you can control things like the scroll bars and other things. And you can do a CSS class on it to control some other things as well. Microsoft with the Power BI URL, and you can see that here as far as the source attribute of this iframe, is you can also embed other parameters like page, and where it'll go to a specific page of your dashboard, as well as another argument that can be used quite a bit called URL filter. So if you, I'm not going to get into URL filters today, but if you look up URL filters on the internet, you'll find some information how you can pass things like maybe the year, the period, or the organization that you're looking at. It's a way where you can pass parameters to the dashboards. And then, well, like here, I do have a filter on this one. This dashboard has a filter of a period as 9, where you can override the period filters that are there just by using arguments on the URL. So perhaps you're passing it from another application or something like that. And that's one you can quickly do URL filters. There also is an API that you can use if you have more programming skills, but I wanted to stay away from that today and just show you by just through using the URLs and simply pasting iframes into your existing pages, you can launch and call any of those items. Hopefully you found today very useful and got away from your fear or maybe the misunderstanding that you couldn't easily embed Power BI, but it works really good to embed right in your ERP vendors' portals and menu items, and very quickly to be done. If someone doesn't have access, I have a question here around doesn't have access to the content, it will prompt him. So because I have a login onto my Power BI, it remembered that. So it didn't prompt me, but if I wasn't a user that hadn't logged in yet or didn't have access, it's not just going to run the report blindly. It's still going to honor all your Power BI authentication and access rules that you have. So that's all I had to cover today. Hopefully you found today's session useful, and give it a shot on Power BI. Let me know what you think. And if you have any suggestions for future sessions, as always, make sure and send that email to info@dashboardgear.com. Thank you again, and we'll talk to you next week.